Welcome back to Mass Appeal. So much of our lives are spent on computers nowadays, you know, between email, banking, social media, so much more. But what happens when our computer breaks? Well, Michael Grogan and Nathan Spear from GroganSpear.com are here to help us avoid these repairs. Because it's true, you know, we were making that car metaphor earlier. For me, when I go to the mechanic, he could tell me anything. I have to say yes because I have no idea what he's telling me.
Yeah, for sure. Your computer's the same way, you know. I mean, a lot of times you take your PC to, you know, big box store or any computer repair place, and, you know, they will oftentimes, you know, throw tech lingo out there to get you to be sort of misinformed and sort of, you know, in the dark about what you're buying, why you're buying it, and is it even something that I need, you know?
There's a lot of jargon, especially when you get your computer repaired. They tell you all these things you have no idea. So you've got 5 tips today to help us avoid costly repairs, keep the costs down, kind of get our act together so that we can talk to people about it. So the first one's diagnostic testing. That's a big fancy word, but what does it really mean?
Diagnostic testing is really just a way to get people in the door so that they can upsell them or give them something they don't need. A lot of things with diagnostic testing is they get you in there and they try to tell you you need more RAM or you need another hard drive, because the biggest thing that they do is they try to scare you into data loss or something like that.
Because that's your next tip. You say that they always try to sell you that expensive hardware and you might not need it. But how would you know something like that?
We have tools in the field that actually get you the right information, and if you go to a reputable place, they'll give you a printed report of what actually is going on with your computer.
So more often than not, you might sense it or something. And more often than not, if you're using the computer, I know a lot of people out there, it's just for that email, that checking. If you're not doing anything really complex, you don't need a lot of bells and whistles.
Right,
sure.
Right. They try to sell you video cards so you can play your games on Facebook or whatever, and that's typically not what you need.
You don't need it. So your next tip, avoid unqualified computer technicians, because a lot of times we're faced with those sorts of people.
If you go to the big box stores, you notice that, you know, the people working on your computers are actually 16, 17 years old, and
while everyone's saying no, the kids, they get this computer stuff, you need someone who's qualified.
Right. Right.
And next, you need to get a written estimate. Now, what are you looking for when you get a written estimate, and why is it so important?
Well, typically, if you're going to a place that's going to charge you by the hour, you want them to tell you how long it's going to take and how long the max is, if you will. You typically want to go to a place that offers a flat rate, because then you know there's no hidden charges or bells and whistles at the end.
And that's the other thing. If you get a written estimate, you know you're not going to spend more than that. And if you do, you can go back and say, hey, I have this piece of paper. You're taking advantage of me.
Exactly. And
lastly, you need to get some references.
Right. There's a lot of places that if you go to the store, they'll be glad to tell you, hey, we work for so-and-so, you know, reputable places. And when you make someone happy, they're very happy to write a testimonial for you. And, you know, I'd be glad to show that off, too, if someone was happy with my work. I'd be glad to show my clients, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I guess if there's no other tip, you know, these days with the internet, it's so easy to take a search engine search of what might be wrong with your computer. So the more information that you have, the better prepared you are when you go to a technician.
That brings up another point. I mean, you say, you know, you go out on the internet, there's a lot of internet-based sort of, you know, hey, we'll remote into your PC, we'll fix it, you know, give us $150 on your credit card, we'll remote in and do some stuff. And typically, I mean, that stuff is just a bad idea, you know what I mean? They're remoting into your PC, who knows what they're doing, you know, if they're running any scans or if they're leaving any software behind after they disconnect with you. And it's an easy scam. You're at home, you don't have to leave your house, that's it, you know what I mean?
It's a scary
like
world
a few
out
buttons,
there. But
you know?
now, hopefully with these tips, we'll be a little bit more prepared. And if you want these tips again, just go to mymassappeal.com a little bit later today.